Well, hello, 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 beautiful people. Dr. Cheryl Fraser here. It's a Friday, and as promised, every Friday in October, I'm going to show up here live to answer your relationship, love, and sex questions and help you any way I can. I'm on fire today. I'm actually on a getaway to have a work immersive 2 days. I'm at a hotel in Parksville, British Columbia, an hour or so from where I live. Got the fireplace on, got the ocean outside the window. I don't know if the lighting will let you see that. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful ocean outside my window. And I'm meeting my videographer and my business partner today to film a bunch of videos, a bunch more great content for you all to bring you my best content all month long. Why? Because twice a year, usually in fall and spring, I teach a series of free masterclasses, couples workshops to everybody who wants them. And those are coming up October 20th to October 25th. You can't sign up quite yet. In a few days, we'll post on here the link where you can pick the time that works for you. I teach them at different time zones, so everybody around the world can pick the time that works for them. The majority of my audience comes from North America. I get people from England and Europe and some people from down under as well. So I teach them at different times. You pick the one time that works for you. I teach it live each time. I teach it live every day for 5 days in a row. And join that, where you're going to get a deep dive with me into the 3 keys to passion, the 3 predictors of excellent relationship. And I'm going to give you some actionable tips, ask you some questions, do some polls. Don't worry, I'm on video, but you're not. It's completely confidential. And I stick around at the end for an extensive Q&A. You type your questions anonymously in the chat box, so you can ask your most intimate questions about love and sex and how to recover from affairs and what to do when your partner's attracted to you and you're not attracted to them, and admitting that you have some ugly, heinous fighting styles, arguing styles that are really cruel and leave you disconnected for days, sleeping in different rooms. I'll answer all your questions. I'll also, in that free masterclass, in that couples workshop, I will teach you and introduce to you my 10 to 12 week immersion couples online program that kicks off on October 30th. I took 3 groups through that program in the last 2 years, a total of 212 couples. Extraordinary way to invest in your relationship and move it from where you are to where you want to be. Okay, today's topic, marriage boredom. You may have seen my most recent video, came out yesterday, I think yesterday morning, Thursday morning, and it's on the topic of marriage boredom. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to up the ante a little bit and introduce you to a phrase that sex therapy and couples therapy colleague of mine, Dr. Terry Riel, uses. He uses a term, basic marital hatred. Ouch, isn't that an awful phrase? But I bet at least 50% of you watching resonate a bit with that phrase, to your absolute chagrin and pain, in that you feel resentment far too often towards your spouse, your partner, or you feel just daily irritation. What they do bothers you, the way they chew their oatmeal, the way they never take up the garbage until you remind them, even though they always say they'll remember. And much bigger than that, where you actually feel loathing or sexual, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Recoil. Your partner may want to make love to you and you're like, don't touch me. This is way too common. I'm gonna circle that in with the topic I'm addressing today. And in the video you can watch for more detail. Marriage boredom is where we've become complacent. Complacency is a super dirty word, the way I teach. It basically means I'm taking you for granted. I've woken up to you every morning for the last 11 and a half years. You're not interesting to me anymore. If you're bored with your mate, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to kick your butt a little bit. It's actually that you are being boring. You're not igniting your mind to find your sweetheart interesting again. You're not noticing the rich, the depthness, the beauty, the awesomeness of the person standing right in front of you. This is the number one cause of affairs, actually. It's not so much sexual horniness. That's a bit of a myth. It's feeling taken for granted by your mate, feeling like they're not that interested in you. They're not excited about who you are and the things you're doing. They don't ask much about you. They don't seduce you, romance you, make you feel special, sexy, and desired. And someone comes along who does. And the way the majority of affairs start, unless they're with a paid sex trade worker or a random drunken one night stand at a conference, those are cliches, but they sometimes happen. The majority of affairs start because you meet someone in your workplace or at your kid's soccer game, they're another parent, or in a club you're in, a bowling league or whatever, and they're nice to you. And they're a nice person. They're a decent human being. They're not a player. They're not a sleazeball. They're not out looking to ruin anybody's relationship. They, like you, are lonely. They, like you, are feeling taken for granted in their own relationship if they have one. And they simply find you interesting. They're not bored with you because you're new. You're not bored with them because they're new. Novelty is a big turn on. Novelty does biochemical and psychological things to us that makes us be super attracted to the object that is new. If you eat your favorite meal every day for the next 14 days, it's not going to be exciting anymore. In fact, you may feel a bit of basic marital hatred towards it. So here's the thing. Everything I teach is to teach couples, whether you're gay or straight or trans, whomever you love, however you love. If you're in a committed relationship, I sometimes use the word marriage, but if you're in a committed relationship, common law marriage, even living apart together, that's a term that means you're in a committed monogamous relationship, but you have two houses. You live in different towns, or it works better that way, or whatever it is. Beautiful. Love it. If you love somebody and they love you back, and the two of you are trying to walk the path long term, that's what I mean by marital boredom. It's not heteronormative married people. It's all of us who are trying to love someone long term and trying to invest in our sexual and romantic life with one person long term. That's what I teach. That's what I do. So find your spouse interesting today. Do one thing today that makes your partner feel special, that reminds them you're not always taking them for granted, even if you are a lot, because that's human nature. We get bored with something we see every day. Can you leave your spouse a love note, tuck it in their lunch kit? I know that's old school, but some of us actually do take lunch these days. Send them a text, give them a hug, a kiss, and a stroke and a squeeze when they get home. Take them into the shower tonight and soap their back, and then soap the rest of them, and maybe make love with them in the shower. Or let's face it, that's never as good as it looks on TV, in your bed where it's more comfy. The point I'm making is marital boredom is super, super real. I would say about 80 to 90% of the couples I ever meet have some of that going on. And don't take my word for it, take your word for it. The free workshop that you can join next week, and they're going to go from October 20th to 24th. I poll those couples, and in the last time I offered it, I polled over 2,500 couples, and only 11% of you said you still feel that fluttery in love feeling. Do the math. That means 89% of those couples weren't feeling the in love feeling, were feeling bored, and they joined my workshop because they wanted to learn if there's anything they can do about it. The short answer is yes. It's not easy. There's no quick fix. I'm not a quick fix lady. I'm a psychologist and sex therapist and super well trained, and I'm not going to tell you things that don't work. I am, however, going to tell you the step-by-step process to move your relationship from where it is now to where you want it to be. So if you have questions for me, you can post them below this video. I'll get to them next Friday when I pop on here live again. You can email them to me at hello@drcherylfraser.com, and my assistant will compile them and give them to me. Better yet, sign up for one of those workshops. We'll drop the link here in a couple days when it's ready to go, and you can actually choose your time and come ask your questions live, and then I can go back and forth with you and answer them more deeply. All right, today, do one special thing for your sweetheart, then repeat tomorrow and the next day and every day for the rest of your lives. Bye for now.